Hey YouTube! So we did the bass, we did guitar skanks, and now we're going to do the bass picking. So if you look on the screen here, we got two bass pick tracks. We're going to use that same idea of recording two tracks, panning one left and one right for now. But like I said in the guitar skank video, that it gives us the flexibility during the mix down. We got the same amp setup as the guitar skank, but I do want to point out for the bass picking, this low cut shelving EQ is pretty important, especially for the low notes. So let's hear it with it on. So let me just do a sample. All right, and if you don't have that low cut, let's hear it how it sounds. These notes here, as you go a bit lower, you get more of that bottom end, and you can't really make that judgment now, but in the mix, that bottom end will clash with the bass. So whenever you're doing this kind of bass picking, make sure that you shave off a little bit of that low end just so that it doesn't interfere with the bass. So with it on, it sounds like this. And with it off, so if you have headphones or if you're listening on good speakers, you can kind of hear that distinction with it on or off. So I got it on here. So let's close this window. All right, so what we're gonna do is replace this MIDI track of the bass picking. So let's take a listen to the track and then I'll solo this bass picking here. All right, so when I first created this track, everything was MIDI, like I mentioned in my bass video. And what I used was expand. I used a muted electric sound and then just kind of played the keyboard. Add a little bit of delay to give it that kind of space in there. But, now we got our real instruments. So what I'm gonna do is mute this. I'm going to inactivate this track. So if I right click on here, there's a choice, make inactive. And then I can hide it. And the quick way to do it is if you have this window open, just click on this little circle here and it'll make it disappear. So you can see it here, and then if I click it again, it'll disappear. So by making it inactive, it shuts off whatever CPU power that track is using, whatever CPU power the expand synth was using, just so that you don't take up that unnecessary computer power. So, what else? Oh, as far as guitar settings. So, using my same Epiphone Les Paul, and instead of like the guitar skank video where it was on rhythm all the way down, I'm using the sound in the middle, just so that it gives that separation between the guitar skank sound and this sound. So let me give you a sample of that. So the sound I'm going to be using is this. With it all the way down, it sounds like this. And then with it all the way up, just so that you guys can hear the sound, it sounds like this. So the sound I'm using is kind of a blend between those two sounds. For those who are new, to reggae music or never really done reggae bass picking before, just a quick technique. What you want to do is put your hand your palm on the bridge here. So if I strum it, but if I put my palm here, so it's kind of like you're muting it. And you just have your palm there while playing the bass line. So if I didn't have my palm on the strings, it would sound like this. So that's not the sound you want. You want that palm muted sound. And be careful because you can overmute it, or if you press too hard down on your palm, you're going to actually make the note a little bit sharp because you're going to be adding a little bit more tension on the string. So be very careful. You don't want to mute it too much. You want to kind of have a good balance. So play around with your positioning of your palm. If I go more back, and if I come forward. So just play around with that positioning there. So that's about it. So let's get to recording, and I'll do 2 takes, and then I'll pan it left and right, and then we'll listen back to this. So let's do that again. I'm playing the second line a little bit wrong. So it goes. And I was doing. So that's not correct. It's. Alright. So let's undo that. Control or Command Z. And let's redo it. Right, so we got the first bass picking, and we're just going to record enable our second track, turn down the first track a little bit, and let's do it again. All right, cool. So let's take a listen back to these. And what we're going to do is listen back with it panned down the center, and then I'm going to pan it off to the left and right so you guys can hear the difference. Right, and then we're gonna pan the first take all the way to the left, second take all the way to the right, and let's take a listen. All right, so as you can see, timing is a little bit off between both. And timing is especially important with the bass picking just because it's so percussive, and every little shift between both tracks you can kind of hear the flange between both. So when we go to the editing step, we'll take care of those. We'll make sure that everything is lined up. But yeah, as far as the recording phase for the guitars, that'll be it. And then we'll jump into the editing section. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video.